think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
There's not another guy in the world that can beat you right now. That's Mayweather level. Head to head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd. I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao because he got these opportunities so late.
That's the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late.
Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the best man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fight.
Terence Crawford fired back with fearless energy at Floyd Mayweather's bold claim. Crawford declared he'd beat Mayweather, even at his absolute prime, showing no hesitation in his belief, reminded the world that history will celebrate him for accepting every challenge thrown his way. Crawford made it clear, no critic can ever say he ducked anyone. If Mayweather ever stepped up, Crawford wouldn't back down.
Then you start going like this, and then that's when Floyd started taking over.
What do you want your legacy to be like when your career's all said and done? What do you want people to remember you for?
Everybody's asking me this question. I always be like, man, it's whatever it's their opinion. Everybody gonna have a different opinion of Terence Crawford, but one thing they can't say is that I ducked anyone. I fought everyone that was available to fight.
Veteran analyst Dan Rafael believes Terence Crawford has reached a rare level in boxing where fighting again isn't even necessary to define his greatness. Rafael highlights how Crawford has already cleaned out divisions, unified world titles, and dismantled elite opponents with ruthless dominance, never showing weakness in the process. To this stage, Rafael argues, Crawford doesn't need to prove himself anymore. The focus now shifts to protecting his legacy and enjoying the respect he has earned through years of unmatched success. Crawford's resume, according to Rafael, has already surpassed every expectation fans once had for him. Chasing unnecessary fights won't change his place in history. His recent reign of dominance is more than enough to keep him remembered forever as one of boxing's true greats.
What does Terence Crawford do now? Like, what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? Do you say, what do you do?
I don't quit. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made two things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up. Yeah. That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fans. So yeah. I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, but I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to two weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight. And he's going to have mandatories. Obviously, that's the first thing they'll have to look at. I mean, I don't know if he's not going to necessarily keep the belts if he's forced into a mandatory. He doesn't need the belts at this point, but it might be something appealing to him. For example, Dilly had a great fight on the undercard, although he's been ordered to fight a rematch in that fight. Mm-hmm. That was, fight of the year against Lester Martinez, candidate for fight of the year.
The dominant fashion in which Terence Crawford dismantled Canelo Alvarez has ignited one of the hottest debates in boxing today. Fans and analysts immediately began stacking his victory against Floyd Mayweather's win over the same Mexican superstar. The difference, however, lies in timing. Mayweather defeated a younger, less experienced Canelo, while Crawford crushed a fully matured, battle-tested version of the champion, leading many to ask if Crawford's statement was even bigger. Yet, analyst Luke Thomas stepped in with perspective. He reminded everyone that Crawford's career timeline unfolded differently. Floyd was already a global superstar in his early years, facing elite names and building his resume young. Crawford, in contrast, endured delays in recognition and struggled for promotion, meaning his true prime came later. Thomas argues that while Crawford's victory might feel more emphatic in execution, it doesn't automatically elevate him above Mayweather historically.
This was a masterclass class. One guy with outrageous skill offensively and defensively, simply making another very good fighter look lesser than. This was the other part. People who watch MMA and then try to watch boxing through an MMA lens, I don't know what to tell you. You're actually missing the point. The kind of specific details and the depth of the technical ability far surpasses even what you can get at the highest level of MMA because they don't have that level of skill. There is no equivalent in MMA to Bud Crawford because there cannot be. Bud is the most talented boxer I've seen since Mayweather.
I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
To be fair to Floyd, he obviously had hand problems in his whole welterweight run, and it's why he took that long stretch off in 2007, 2008, 2009 area, and Floyd's brilliance to be able to be just as great in some ways at that age. We're not here trying to dunk on Floyd. When you get a victory like this, right now, straight up, Luke, you could say that there's not a welterweight, junior middleweight, or maybe even super middleweight. When you could say over like a 4-division stretch, Bud, cut down to any of these weights, that there's not another guy in the world that can beat you right now, that's Mayweather level. Head-to-head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd, I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao because he got these opportunities so late.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It blooms kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just insane.
Buddy McGirt emerged as one of Terence Crawford's loudest supporters after the Canelo showdown. Praising the performance as pure domination, McGirt explained that from the opening bell, Crawford dictated everything, controlling the pace, neutralizing Canelo's trademark aggression, and never once giving him the chance to take over. For McGirt, the victory was so decisive that a rematch would be pointless. The gap in skill, precision, and execution was clear to everyone who witnessed it. He stressed that this triumph has finally delivered the legacy-defining moment Crawford had been chasing for years. By dismantling a fighter of Canelo's stature, Crawford's greatness is now validated in the eyes of both fans and historians. According to McGirt, there is nothing left for Crawford to prove. His destruction of Canelo is a timeless testament to his place among boxing's legends.
Yes. Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody. He's did everything. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
When Terence Crawford is compared to Floyd Mayweather, one theme consistently rises to the surface: the mental game. Analysts praise Crawford for his technical brilliance, his ability to switch stances seamlessly, adjust mid-fight, and systematically dismantle elite opponents. His versatility inside the ring is undeniable, making him one of the most complete fighters of this era. Yet, when Mayweather enters the discussion, experts point to something beyond skill. Floyd possessed an unrivaled psychological edge. He didn't just box, he manipulated opponents mentally, forcing them out of their strategies and into costly mistakes. His aura created pressure long before the opening bell, and once the fight began, his control only deepened. This unique blend of physical mastery and psychological dominance is seen as the key factor separating Mayweather from Crawford. The comparison shows Crawford's greatness, but also highlights the mental warfare that keeps Floyd in a league of his own.
Hagler, Hearns. I've seen Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. Like I've seen all of those things, and those fights were wars. Floyd Mayweather is the best boxer I've ever seen. He's the most skilled boxer I've ever seen. Bud, and this is just my opinion, is the baddest man I've seen wear boxing gloves. And here's why I say that.
RC.
Here's why I say that. Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it right, the best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough. Floyd's not a bad man. But there was domination inside that ring we saw this weekend. And there's no fear in him in the way that he's attacked, gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years. But no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was Errol Spence.
At this point, Terence Crawford's legacy speaks louder than any critic ever could. He's battled through years of doubt, overcome being overlooked, and crushed the toughest names in boxing to claim his place among the greats. From dismantling Errol Spence Jr. to dominating Canelo Alvarez, Crawford has turned every challenge into a statement of greatness. His journey is not just about talent, it's about resilience, pride, and proving wrong every voice that once dismissed him. History has already carved his name in stone, and the debate of his place among legends will never fade. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive boxing content.